Sunday comes by but once a week, and the world keeps on spinning around. But the Sunday Papers podcast with Greg and Mike will never let you down.
Hey now, read all about it. It's the Sunday Papers.
Someone commented, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, there you are. Someone commented that 2 weeks ago, first time ever, you didn't scream that at the top.
Really?
Then last week, I think it was in the song maybe, but you kind of sidestepped it. Same with today.
Well, listen, people,
we
hope you're enjoying the show. And, we're always looking to boost the ratings. It's great if you can go on Apple Podcasts and give us a 5 stars or whatever there is there. And a comment is amazing. Tell your friends, spread the word. What's going on? We just played golf this morning and played very slowly. That was a 3-hour, 9-hole round. That was a little trying.
Pretty miserable. You were not happy with your play.
Was not happy with my play. But, golf is, it's all mental. And when I have a lot of shit going on in my mind, I just don't. I had my sister-in-law here with her 2 boys, and one of them is a handful. I love him. He's cute as hell, but man, I brought me back to what it was like because, JoJo was like that. And it's nonstop. You can't not be watching them all the time.
How old?
10.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love them. They're great boys. And Erin's sister's pretty amazing. She went to Columbia, top of her class, summa cum laude, whatever. Then she went to Michigan Law School, where she was the president of the Law Review.
How did she wind up with dumb kids?
And so then she graduates, could have gone into the private sector and been making $500,000 a year. Instead, she went and worked for the Bronx Defenders in the seediest part of the Bronx, helping people get bail money to get out of jail. She was the stop and frisk. That was her case.
That's amazing.
She argued stop and frisk, and now she works for the ACLU. Amazing woman. I
imagine she argued against stop and frisk.
Of course.
All right, thank you.
You got to frisk these people. They're different colors. You can't just not frisk different colored people.
Good for her. That's really admirable.
And then her husband, Shaheen, is from Iran, and he escaped.
I'm out.
He fled during the revolution when he was about 12 years old. They literally grabbed their toothbrushes and fucking ran for the hills and got to America.
No wonder. I doubt it was toothbrushes. No wonder they're terrorists, the kids.
Did you call them terrorists?
No, I stopped short of that. That would have been too easy. No, how about no wonder they're holy terrors?
So what else? I'm training for a 5K. I don't know if I mentioned that last week. But
one of the weeks you did, yeah.
Bert and Tom are doing a 5K. So I've been running every other day. I run like 2.5 miles. A 5K is 3.1. Building up to it. I've got a 30-day cold plunge challenge from Matt Malloy. And we fill his bathtub outside with ice. And then we jump in. I stay in there for about 3 minutes, and all my knee is so bad, and it just shrinks it. I get out, and all the pain that was in my knee is just fucking gone. And also, have you ever done a cold plunge?
I mean, have I been in like a tub? I mean, I've broken through ice up in Carmel.
Yeah. That's a cold plunge. I didn't know you did
I know,
that.
but what I'm saying is this whole new bro thing of having like a cold tub in your backyard. I don't think I've done that.
But the lake is the same thing. That's intense. The lake is probably colder than what we're jumping in.
No, and I don't know because it's weird. Even though there's ice on top, anyway. I've also, before I got the hip replaced, I'd go up in Yosemite and stuff like that, and I would be in such pain, like carrying like the 40-something pounds on the back, blah, 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 that there'd be a river there. And like a lot of times when you're camp up there in the spring, there's snow around, and it's the runoff. But I would like have to sit down in the river just to get the hip inflammation down, and it would work.
Oh, yeah. That's amazing. Yeah, and then you feel so tingly when you get out, and I feel so fucking present and clear. Like I got out the other day, and I came home, and like without even thinking about it, I made this beautiful dinner, and then I sat and wrote jokes before my shows. And I don't know, I'm not normally when I cook, I'm fucking miserable usually.
Right. So wait, what time are you doing
and
this?
my family's usually miserable when I cook also.
Yeah. What time are you doing this plunge?
I do it at the end of the day around like 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Isn't all the advice to do it in the morning? It sets your energy for the day and stuff?
Maybe I'll try that.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm talking about though, but don't
5K,
overdo it.
I'm like a pussy. You ran 2 marathons, right?
Yeah. So I knew that 3.1 would be your 5K because getting ready for the marathon, you run like you can if you want. I hated just jogging on my own. So if I ever saw there was like a 10K race or a 10K whatever, I would always join those. Those are 6.2.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then what's going on with...
You got it, man. It'll be fun. Now, what about like extra padding in the shoe or some shit?
Extra padding in the shoe. What, does that help the knee?
I mean, I don't know what's wrong with your knee, but you know, it's the impact, the poundage.
I got some brand new
pressure.
shoes. I got some expensive Saucony shoes that so those will be good. And then I'll wrap the knee. And then, I mean, the thing is, here's the thing. In the comedy world, there's a lot of young guns out there. And I think they look at me as like, you know, the old guy. But they're going to be running. And they're going to see me. And I'm going to fly past them. I've been doing 7-minute miles.
I'm looking at you. If you did, it's not blackface, but if you did black body, you could pull off the Ethiopian look. And those guys outrun everybody.
Not the face. I'll just wear a mask and they'll think it.
Oh, just black body, not face?
Can you imagine if I ran this race in black? There's going to be like Netflix is recording it. They're putting it on like, I don't know what program, but Netflix is going to air it somewhere.
You could pull off blackface if you were doing a swim. You know how like they swim the channel and they cover themselves to keep, you know, whatever the hell's going on.
You're right.
Something like that.
What's going on with you've been teaching a class very prestigious at USC in comedy writing. So what's going on? Because I hear there's controversy.
I think they've invited me back too. I just have to see. It pays nothing. But anyway, I was leaving on Monday. It was my last class there for the semester. And stuff, I don't know if it had started yet, but there was already controversy over the valedictorian. And that then got canceled. Anyway, things have built up. So there's a demonstration on USC's campus, which is sympathetic to Palestine. And now these are happening everywhere. UCLA has had to deal with it, but it got so what USC calls bad. I've seen footage. It didn't look that bad to me. So I kind of don't know what details forced them to cancel the main graduation ceremony, which is
how
the
many
big
kids
thing.
is that?
It is so many kids. I told you I went there last year, and I don't think this is a cancelable statement. I couldn't believe how many Asian kids were graduating. Like literally on the printout, it looked like I was visiting my niece who was graduating in an Asian country. And like the list would be like 15 names in a row, just incredibly complex Asian names.
Really?
It's a very international school, and especially the graduate programs. So there's that. And I don't know how many, but Obama was there last year because Malia, I think, was graduating. She transferred from Michigan, I think. I might have a lot of this wrong. All I know is canceled this year because of these protests. The individual colleges, like the one I work at, are still going to have their ceremony.
I know. I was reading a lot about Columbia University, and the president there got called before Congress. And It's just fucking crazy. I mean, it's just basic freedom of speech. If you want to get out and protest, I don't care what side you're on, you have a right to protest. They go, well, it's dangerous. I don't see, has there been any major violence against Jewish people? I haven't seen it. And I'm not saying I'm on one side or the other. It just seems to me that these colleges are really overreacting, and their hands are being forced by Congress. They keep calling them up and grilling them about, what are you doing to prevent anti-Semitism on campus? It's like, it's fucking freedom of speech.
Yeah. To answer your question, I looked up, and it's a big day. Like, it was gigantic. Parking was the biggest nightmare ever. The main ceremony, which has been canceled, usually brings 65,000 people.
Damn.
To campus.
That's a lot of travel money that wasn't spent in L.A. Well, I guess people probably came anyway. They already planned on it.
I just looked up. This thing says 20% of USC is Asian. They can go get fucked. They don't know what's going on.
Wow. Well,
there's no, maybe it's because the graduate programs. By the way, I'm not judging at all. I'm just saying it's an incredibly international scene.
Yeah, I think Berkeley is doing the same thing. Did you just say that?
Berkeley apparently, Berkeley, world famous for protests.
Yeah.
They're off and running. So maybe it's a thing that the Palestinian sympathizing students are kind of organizing, and it's catching on, and maybe they'll disrupt schools, I guess. I'm not saying whether I'm for it or against it, but it's happening.
What are you thinking on the war? I like Palestine with the points.
How many points? You got to give a lot of points.
You got to give a lot of points. I did that joke on stage, and Neil Brennan's like, I have the exact same joke. And so whenever that happens, I just drop it.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, and then even with Iran, I don't know. Iran's kind of like, yeah, we'll attack you, and then where did that go? I don't know what happened there.
There's no follow-through anymore in the Middle East.
Hey, I will say I was on a plane, and it was like I had seen everything, and it was all shit. But there was a documentary. I highly recommend people finding it. It was so well done. It was about Clinton's first year in office, and he wanted to make a mark. He was such like this image that he was fighting is that he's this Southern rube, right? And inexperienced, so young. And so he's like, I'm going to make my mark. I am going to make headway in the Mideast process like no one has ever done before, which says a lot because of Carter.
Jimmy Carter.
So the documentary was about his efforts, and it's fascinating. I mean, the amount of meetings they would have of like, he's like, I will not shake his hand, and he cannot hug me. This is all off if that happens on that stage. And it was, who's the leader of the PLO? Gaddafi.
Yasser Arafat.
And they're like, Yasser Arafat. Right. Sorry. And it's like, he will. And so then they taught, and he goes, and he can't hug you because I'm not hugging you, to Clinton. So they had to teach Clinton this handshake where you grab the hand and a firm grip on his shoulder with the other hand that doesn't allow him to hug you. Like, I'm talking, there's minutia like that. It doesn't even matter if you're interested in this.
Yeah.
It was fascinating.
That's interesting. Yeah. I'm finding a lot more women giving me a side hug these days. It's become very standard. There used to be a front-to-front hug, and I'm not a pervert, but it's a different hug when a woman all of a sudden shoves her shoulder into your chest and turns 90 degrees. It's like, look, sweetie, they're not that spectacular to begin with, and I'm not a pervert, so don't give me this fucking weird second cousin hug. Get him in there.
I told you when I was taking that course, I was going to become a ref for my daughter, my really young daughter at the time's soccer league. Anyway, a big course, and then a very long, I can't even imagine how long it is now, but a long training thing on appropriateness. And it's like, I could never like take one student alone, like to the bathroom and stuff like, which is,
yeah. Do you think?
Well, So you're going to give me more? So anyway, at one point during the thing, I kind of was spacing out, and they could see that. And so they're like, well, what do you think? And I quickly like jump out of my space, and the thing says, no front hugs was up on the board, no hugging from the front. And I'm like, well, I guess it's a little confusing. And I just tried, and I thought they'd be like, yes, that's a good point, blah, blah. They're like, why? And I'm like, well, and I'm like, so I'm supposed to hug from the back? Thank God everyone thought I was joking.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I should, well, it is weird with kids too, because if they're small enough, you're hugging their face right into your crotch.
There we go. There we go.
Logo this week comes from Jane S., who did a series for us. We'll be unveiling, not every week, but maybe every other week we'll do a Jane S. This is a very cool one. I like the style. That almost looks like something that we would use on a piece of merchandise. The song is from Emmett Hall. Had a nice little bit of a Tom Waits feel to it, a little raw. I like the spirit behind it. I thought it sounded great. Thank you, Emmett. Corrections on last week's episode. This is from Derek Chamberlain. You two spoke briefly about the movie Patton, and I wanted to include some more context about the movie. First of all, Greg was correct when he noted that George C. Scott won the 1971 Academy Award for Best Actor, but the film also won an additional 6 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay. How is this a movie I have not shown my kids or rewatched? I haven't seen Patton in 20 years.
Wow.
Anyway, Scott refused to get the award. He said the Academy Awards are a 2-hour meat parade, a public display with contrived suspense for economic reasons. And he said that actors should not be competing against each other. He's one of only 2 actors to ever refuse the Academy Award, Brando for The Godfather in 1973. So let's watch that and talk about it.
All right. I was trying to find the name of the documentary.
Phil McCracken, my favorite listener's name.
Phil McCracken, what do you, yeah.
Wow, Mike is taking I Don't Give a Shit to the next level, fumbling into the mic as the podcast begins. It's as if he's being distracted from watching a fucking something sports game on TV.
What does that mean?
Sometimes when the show begins, you're playing with your equipment.
Oh.
And by that I mean jerking off.
I think that means I give a shit, doesn't it? But all right, McCracken.
Phil McCracken.
Note taken.
Tour dates coming up. I will be in Carpinteria, which is Santa Barbara, at the Alcazar Theater, May 3rd. Mamaroneck, New York, Emmeline Theater, May 31st. Come on out. You can meet my mom will be there, my sister.
Wow.
Maybe my brother, a lot of my really good friends from high school, a lot of my friends from Tarrytown. It's going to be a party. So come out. Escondido at the Grand Comedy Club on June 7th and 8th. And Pittsburgh at the WDVE Festival June 21st with Harlan Williams.
Look at you.
Yeah. Taking it easy. I'm not doing a ton of dates this spring.
In the Berg. Do you know about the Airbnb? It's outside Pittsburgh. It's the home where Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs had his dungeon.
Oh,
it's
yeah?
It's where they filmed the exterior of that. Now, the dungeon doesn't exist, but we talked about this before, but a set designer from Broadway in New York bought it and then kind of dressed up and like created the top of like that pit that he had in the basement.
Yeah.
But the inside, he's made it look exactly the same and everything. So try to rent that house. I'm being serious.
That would be pretty amazing.
The two of you would have, like, I can't imagine you and Harlan in that house, and then you could talk about it, take pictures. The social media would blow up.
Yeah.
Of you guys.
That is one of the most iconic sets in film history. I mean, you've got the exterior in The Shining. You've got...
we're going to go through. Mount Rushmore and North by Northwest, and the little pervert dungeon in Silence of the Lambs.
You got the dried out LA River in the movie Grease.
It's not dried out.
No, when they shot it, it was.
Well, it's cemented.
Yeah.
I think that's your lead.
Was it wet cement?
Oh, Jesus.
By the way, support for Sunday Papers comes from Mint Mobile after years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by these the wireless providers these days. You literally have to call them every 6 months and go, "Hey, I'm losing my house because I can't afford this anymore. Can you lower it?" And they used to do it. Now they don't even do it anymore. So there's always a catch with them. Also, you think you're getting a deal. So when I heard that for a limited time, all Mint Mobile wireless plans are $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan, I was like, all right, there's got to be a catch. But I looked at it. There's no catch. They sell wireless service online, so they're cutting out the brick and mortar, the retail stores, and you get the savings. So
no overpriced wireless plans. $15 a month is what it starts at.
And the quality, I mean, it's literally, I feel like it's better than, I don't know if I'm allowed to say which one. I used to have one of the major providers. This quality is crystal clear. Say goodbye to these old plans and get rescued.
Every plan they have, it comes with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network.
Use your own phone. With the Mint Mobile plan, you bring your phone number along with your existing contacts. To get this new customer offer and call and your new 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/papers. That's mintmobile.com/papers. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/papers. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower than 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
And Prize Picks, the playoffs have started.
Yeah.
So, wait, we're going to ease into this because Prize Picks is so much fun during this time of year. But how are you thinking about the Knicks? Have you started following closely?
I went to a Knicks game in Miami a few weeks ago. They played the Heat, and they look good. They look really strong.
Yeah, I know.
Didn't they just sweep their last series? Was it against Toronto? They swept in 4 games.
We got the Knicks. Oh, was it? Whatever. I should have done a little more homework. Philly's complaining. I love it. But listen, it's so exciting to talk about the playoff action. You can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during the basketball postseason. And listen, it makes games that aren't that close as hell. You got things riding on it. It's fantastic.
Prize Picks is it's the number one fantasy sports app. They got 3 million members. It's just so easy to get on the action, watch your favorite sports and players. You pick more or less on 2 or more player stats and watch the winnings just roll in. You got 30 different states across the country, California, Texas, Georgia. You guys can get in on it. And play along with some of Prize Picks' favorite players like Meek Mill, Sugar Sean O'Malley. Those guys, you can play with them. So also,
I'm going in with the Knicks. I'm going to make all my picks, and I hate to say it, I'm going to do the less thans. As you know, I'm a less than guy.
Yep.
I can't. I'm a Knick fan. I can't. I'm going less thans.
Steph Curry for more than 29 points with Nikola Jokic for more than 10 rebounds. That's a good bet.
Knicks 2-1. When is the Knicks? Is the Knicks game?
Starts in 3 hours.
Working. It's in 3 hours?
Yes.
Shit, man. I may go watch that.
Download the app today and use code PAPERS for a first deposit match of up to $100. Download the app today and use code PAPERS for a first deposit match up to $100. Look, pick more. pick less. It's that easy. Okay.
right.
Denman is saying they play at
Correction,
noon tomorrow CST. So
yeah, that's why I was like, what are you talking about? I would have known that. All right, tomorrow.
So
All right,
10
good.
a.m. for us. We got to wake up early.
All brunch with the Knicks.
And the Knicks are up. They're up 2-1 in the series against the Sixers right now.
Speaking of a sports story, it's going to be our lead story coming up now.
Extra! Extra! Read all about it! Extra!
O.J.
Front page.
Front page. O.J. Simpson's cause of death was revealed this week, and as you might have guessed, it was exhaustion from his 29-year tireless search for Nicole's killers.
He was looking literally everywhere. Casinos, discos,
16th
golf
hole,
courses.
17th hole, 18th hole, all of them.
He was looking in the assholes of underage strippers. He was looking in envelopes filled with cocaine. Just could not find the killer.
So it was prostate cancer. Of course, the controversial former athlete and actor was acquitted of his wife's murder in 1995. Died on April 10th. He was 76 when he died. His prostate was quite enlarged. In fact, it no longer fit, so he had to quit.
There it is.
Wait a minute.
Maybe the doctor didn't detect it because the glove on his hand didn't fit in OJ's asshole.
Is that the word
Yeah.
we're landing on?
If the glove doesn't fit, you can't put it in the shit.
His doctor said they couldn't operate, and OJ said, but I have my lucky knife right here. Come on, guys.
I want to see his family show up instead of a hearse, just the white Bronco. Rolling in slow in the white Bronco.
Hi. Can you imagine?
That would be
That
amazing.
would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Speaking of amazing, early on Halloween morning, 2019, Colby Trickle called 911 saying his 26-year-old wife, Kristen Trickle, shot herself in their home in Hays, Kansas.
Oh.
Police wondered if Colby Trickle had something to do with his wife's death, but 3 days later, it was ruled a suicide. Colby, who was in the Army Reserve, cashed in on 2 life insurance policies totaling $120,000, and he then spent $2,000 on, wait for it, a life-size sex doll 2 days after he got the insurance payout. So, it's surprising, but based on the look on the sex doll's face, she was pretty surprised too.
Yeah, isn't it a kind of good alibi? Like, listen, would I have killed my wife, and would I have killed her for a human? Like another woman?
Yeah.
Not a sex doll, which I don't even have yet?
Yeah, and, is it did he murder her? Like, is he just grief horny? Like, did he murder her, or like maybe he doesn't want to cheat on her, but he's horny? Sometimes you get horny at funerals. You ever go to a funeral and like there's somebody who is...
By the way, don't even finish the sentence. No. No,
I find
I don't.
A lot of emotions come to the surface because you're feeling grief, and one of those emotions can be horniness. You never felt horny at a funeral?
I mean, I probably very healthily block it out.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. All right. I thought we were being honest on the podcast.
No, I think our listeners want a level of honesty that's beneath this.
Yeah.
A little lower.
All right. Speaking
TMI.
of low, a St. Louis woman who made her 8-year-old son drive with her toddler in the back seat while she was passed out drunk is being charged with child endangerment. Latonia Mays Gale, 28. There's counts pertaining to the boy. She had a 3-year-old unsecured in the back. She was spotted with the vehicle heading west in an eastbound lane, which is a problem, at a downtown St. Louis intersection. She told him to drive. Anyway, this sounds questionable, but I gotta say, when I was 8 years old, I knew which fucking direction to go on a highway. Like, was the kid drinking also?
I also think the kid might have pinned this on the mom. The way I see it is the mom's like, listen, mommy had too much, fruit juice, and I got to take a little nap in the back seat. Then this savvy kid throws it in drive, has no idea what he's doing, and then when he's pulled over, he blames it on this drunk bitch.
Yep. What 8-year-old doesn't want to drive the car?
Yeah.
Plus, this is St. Louis. A lot of people going the wrong way. She probably sideswiped Chris Denman, who was also going the wrong way, heading to some kind of a rally.
Yeah. I don't know. But have you ever taken a car when you were like, I was left in a parking lot. He left the AC on. I threw it in neutral, I think. Thank God it was only neutral. And Laura was in the car. I was so young, and it started drifting back, and a bunch of adults like ran, and then they opened the door and they stopped it.
I have almost the exact same story. I was in my mom, ready for this shit? She had a 69 Cougar. You ever see the Mercury Cougar from the late 60s?
Oh, yeah. Tank.
Fucking bad. No. It was a badass muscle car.
Oh.
It wasn't big. It was like a Mustang or a Charger. Yeah. So she leaves me in the parking lot alone in the car, and it had it was automatic, but it had a really cool stick shifter. And so I stuck it probably in neutral also, and it rolled. I didn't even notice we were rolling, and smashed into the car in front of us, and my lip got smashed on the steering wheel, and she came back to the car, and my whole chin was covered in blood.
Oh, my God. And then she yelled at you, you will never, Gregory, you will never have a muscle car. You will grow up and drive a woman's hybrid.
I know.
This is over. I see what you do with muscle cars.
I'm thinking very seriously about getting the Mustang right now.
Yeah, smash your face on it.
Am I going to look like an asshole being 58 driving a Mustang?
Yep, or do. Are you going to make America great again?
What about a Tesla instead?
By the way, a Tesla could smoke a Mustang any day of the week.
Yeah, it's true.
A company unveiled a robot dog companion.
I just want to tell you something.
Oh.
Hertz is no longer going to use Teslas, and so they're selling like a fleet of Teslas, the 3 model, I guess, and they're selling it for like $17,000. So they've got like 80,000 miles on them. They're $17,000, but you get 4,000 back from the government. So for $13,000, I can get in a 2-year-old Tesla. But then I was thinking that
doesn't sound right. Wouldn't they have all been sold immediately?
I don't know. People don't want Teslas right now. There's issues. But then I was thinking it's also like, do I want to be the guy that marries the prostitute? Or do you want a previously owned vehicle where there was only one guy inside of it, not a new guy every week? You're not even paying attention to me anymore.
Sorry. Tesla's in trouble, but I guess their stock bounced back this week. Who knows what's going to happen? But I'll tell you what, you'd save a lot of money in LA.
It's like you just go away. You just disappear. I'm in the middle of doing a little piece of comedy, and then I look up and you're staring at your phone. That was a funny idea.
All right. Okay. Do you want me to continue the story you interrupted?
Why don't you go ahead and read it, since I'm the one who wrote it and put it in the script? But why don't you read it to give the illusion you've done anything this week?
Well, it's my area. Can I say that?
Please.
I've talked so much about robot dogs. I can't wait till they're here, which I'll probably be the one most regretting that desire. A company has unveiled a robot dog companion with flamethrower attached. That's nice. What kind of companion? Well, who wants a companion with a flamethrower attached?
Game of Thrones, the dragon lady.
True. Throwflame says the Therminator is the first. Throwflame says the Okay, Throwflame's the company says the Terminator is the first ever flame-throwing quadruped robot dog. The Ohio-based firm has announced a $9,420 bot available for purchase by the general public and government agencies. That's a key part of this story, I think. The Terminator can be remotely operated by Wi-Fi or Bluetooth to fire jets of fire up to 30 feet. Throwflame suggests the robot can be used for wildfire control and prevention, entertainment shows, or even clearing snow and ice from your driveway. Yes, that's what they'll be used for.
Yes, and it reminds me of my old dog Brule, except the flames came out his asshole. That thing could fart.
I think if you read the fine print, it's like, can be used for wildfire prevention and also student protests. Graduation is back on.
Yeah. His bark is worse than his 30-foot mouth inferno.
We need them in Venice. No more catalytic converters getting stolen.
I would. If I saw some dude underneath my Prius one morning, I would definitely burn him alive. I know that seems harsh, but that's such a shitty thing to do for a living.
Wait till your Mustang is just ravaged every single night it's parked out on the street.
Do you think that would happen?
Yes. I think it would. There would be multiple attempts to steal it within the first month.
Wow. That's something to think about. And Tesla, do you think as much?
I don't think so. I might be wrong. Are Teslas harder to steal? Maybe they're easier. I have no idea.
I know I've seen them up on bricks and they take the tires.
I have seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the Tesla thing.
Huh.
It's a shame though. Yeah, all the cars. I don't know what you can do about it.
Let's do some entertainment.
Let's do some entertainment. Here we go.
Megan the Stallion. Why is it Thee? What does that mean? Megan
She's
the
Shakespearean,
Stallion.
man. She's Shakespearean.
Her former cameraman is suing the rap superstar for allegedly creating a hostile work environment, claiming she forced him to witness her having sex and other scandalous claims. Emilio Garcia claims that Megan had sexual relations with an unidentified woman while riding in an SUV during a tour stop in Ibiza, Spain. You ever been to Ibiza, Spain? It's fucking hedonism.
Right.
The personal videographer who worked with the WAP rapper since 2018 allegedly witnessed the incident as he claims he was in the car at the time. Don't ever discuss what you saw, Megan allegedly told Garcia the next day. He said, I felt uncomfortable. I was frozen. I was shocked. Garcia also claims in the complaint that Megan berated him during that same trip to Spain with comments like fat bitch, spit your food out, and you don't need to be eating. He said, to hear someone who advocates about loving your body tell me these things, I felt degraded. Well, listen. Listen, I think you have to go into the job in Ibiza filming the woman who rapped about her wet-ass pussy kind of with your eyes open. Where was the curveball here? It's like if you write for a sweet daytime talk show host who preaches about being kind and you don't expect to be fired for looking her in the eye or watching Oprah in your office when you're the travel booker for the show. Did I say that? Did you ever hear that story?
Yes.
Yeah.
My take is this was the last straw for this cameraman because you know how tough the cameraman's job is, constantly having to get wider and wider lenses to fit Megan's giant wet-ass pussy in the shot.
Right. And then wiping
Never
down the...
stand still.
You got to wipe down the lens every 30 seconds because it just keeps getting steamed up with that wet-ass pussy.
Yeah. Forget it. He was done. He needed an out. So he did that.
What guy wouldn't do this job for free? And you just can't... you can't fucking hire people anymore if you're famous. Everybody's going to sue you. Guy's
I
a
want to see
pussy.
what this cameraman's like.
Yeah. Fat, I'll tell you that much.
You went on the road with a giant touring act. It's sad if this stuff doesn't happen.
It's Ibiza. I mean,
yeah, there's also that.
Right.
Did he put like little horse blinders on when he walked down the beach? Because people are fucking everywhere there.
Everywhere. Everybody's on Molly, getting fingered. Anyway, let's talk about Florida, speaking of which.
Everyone's on Molly getting fingered. Yes, Florida. Here we go. Florida man disguised as woman accused of stealing a boat and a UTV. Tampa, of course. A Florida man decided to put on his best dress to steal a boat on Wednesday afternoon, according to the Glades County Sheriff's Office. Just after 3 p.m., deputies were investigating a stolen boat in the old Calusa Lodge area in Lakeport, just west of Okeechobee. I think I figured this story out. He wanted to avoid being called a Florida man when he committed his crime.
Oh, I see.
That's what he did, and it didn't work, pal, ma'am.
Right.
It didn't work, ma'am.
They saw right through it. If you're stealing a boat, here's the question. Do you go Marianne or do you go Ginger? Which one would you go as? I'd go Marianne. Less commitment.
For it to be more convincing, when he stole the boat, did he drive it right into a pylon? Did it take 6 attempts to park the boat?
Right.
Otherwise, that would have been believable. He should have committed to it.
Right.
I mean, what was his thinking? Is he like, women don't get arrested for grand theft boat?
Mm.
I don't know what he was thinking.
What about Texas? We're going to skip Texas and go right to sports.
Yes. I had a Texas story that you killed, and it was a guy who was in Pennsylvania, and they caught him. They did a random search, they said, on his checked luggage. In his checked luggage was tons of weed, and they said a firearm, like a gun. So I looked at it. It was a giant magazine. I don't know guns, but it looked at the very least semi-automatic, but it looked automatic with like a sawed-off, like short nose on it. It was terrifying looking.
So that's the story I killed?
Yep.
Okay. Here's a story right up your alley. Tom Brady, who you're writing a roast for right now.
You got it.
Here's the thing that's fucking crazy is I talked to Sarah Tiana last night, who's writing on the roast with you. She said they haven't even announced it yet officially. Like, who's on it? It's a week away. It's literally a week from tomorrow.
They have, but there's a lot of surprises.
Who have they officially announced so far?
I don't even want to go there because I'll probably say someone who's not.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart's the host.
Yep.
Tom Brady is the roastee. Jeff Ross is there. I should probably stop there. I don't know who else.
Yeah, why put out promotion on a 15,000 seat arena when you're a week out?
Yep.
They're not going to sell this thing out. There's no way they're going to sell it out.
The funny thing is they thought they were sold out, and it was very precious about it. Like I asked, like, hey, I overpromised on tickets and stuff. And then I was in their office, and then I've been going on YouTube and Vivid and Game Time and checking tickets. And so I just didn't know where they were going to give me, hopefully, 2, right? And they were, because I was like, I'll buy some in the nearby area. And they're like, oh, we don't know. I'm like, listen, it's not a big deal. Because they felt like, they're like, oh, but then they start making a deal of it. I'm like, it's not a big deal. They're like $11 online. They're like, what? They were bragging to each other the day before that like someone paid $8,000 or something, like some stupid rich white guy paid $8,000 for some floor seat. I'm like, they are all over for $15, and they I think it triggered 3 meetings about it.
So most importantly, did you get me a ticket?
No, but I can tell you where you can get them very cheap.
No, are you serious? You didn't give me a fucking ticket?
I don't, right now, as I sit here, I don't even have one ticket.
Oh my God, there's 15,000 seats.
So get one.
Unbelievable. I'm fucking
I'll
charging.
buy
Next time you come see me live, I'm fucking charging you.
I'll get you. I'll wait. Wait till day of. They're going to play game time, baby.
All right. So anyway, Tom Brady left collectors who paid $3,600 for his autograph disgruntled after they alleged his sloppy penmanship ruined pieces of treasured memorabilia. It's the same as being in a graveyard or cemetery and knocking over stones and defacing them. So that's what Brady did. It sounds to me like he's a little nervous about the upcoming roast. Hands a little shaky.
He probably used a fake name in his contract so he could get out of it.
Oh, right.
Maybe he's signing a new name. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe his hand is just cramped from signing all the divorce papers.
We have so many good jokes against this guy. It's really great.
I just know, and I do not know what jokes have been written, but I can predict right now this joke will come out in the first 30 minutes of the roast. Somebody's going to say he really put the jizz into, what's the wife's name?
Jizz bag?
No, what's his ex-wife's name?
Jizz dumpster? Jizz lane? No, you're thinking of Jizz lane.
Oh, wait, what's his wife's name?
Giselle?
Yeah, he really put the jizz into Giselle. Somebody's
All right.
doing that joke. It's a race to get to that joke.
Maybe.
You think
we
it's
have
too...
really clever jokes about that area. I'll read the jokes every roast. There's always jokes that I'm very sad didn't get in, and I will go wide with those. I would say that's going to be 2 podcasts from now.
Okay. Sounds good.
Because the roast is next Sunday live on Netflix, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
What
live
date?
event on Netflix, one of the rare ones.
The 8th, did you say?
5th.
The
5.
5th. Oh my God, you're going to have a busy week, Mike. How are
I
we going
know,
to
we
fit
have
in
to figure
Sunday
out.
papers next week?
I don't know when we're going to do it. But we're kind of ahead because it's live. Scripts have to come in a little earlier, and because there's no editing. And 2, there's a lot of non-pros, meaning like athletes are doing it, not comedians. And so they like to have a script early and do their reps and get comfortable with it.
All right,
So
very
the
good.
end of the week might not be that busy. I mean, it will be, but not lunacy.
Okay. This next story is called High School Spurts. Supermodel Christy Turlington revealed that her son Finn's high school basketball opponents passed around her nude modeling photo as a heckling tactic during an interview with Harper's Bazaar. I was surprised it hadn't happened sooner, she said. Turlington, 55, didn't feel embarrassed about anything in relation to the actions taken by the rude teenagers, adding that regretting things is a waste of time. She also confirmed that her son's school got involved in the scandal. Look, if they really want to fuck with her kid, pass around the video of Ed Burns and Brothers McMullen. Way more embarrassing.
Also, I think most of them are like, dude, we've seen your mom. There's no fucking way this is her.
Yeah.
Look at this thing.
Dude, have you seen the nudes of Christy Turlington? I mean, they're
I don't-
tasteful. They're like artful shots, but she was just goddamn beautiful. She's still beautiful, but I mean, these pictures are exceptional.
So where are they from?
One of the big magazines. I can't remember which one.
What do you mean? Who would put nudes of her? They have to be unofficial or just modeling ones?
She did there was a bunch. I've seen 5 or 6 different nude shots of her, but they all looked like glossy magazine style. Probably like a French Harper's Bazaar or something like that.
Soon, I mean very soon, like really soon. You're not, I mean, they could show pictures they could show that aren't even real, but the most believable things in the world. They could just tell their computer to make them.
By the way, my hockey team passed around a nude photo of my mom, but I blame myself. I needed money for weed.
You also blackmailed your mom, which I thought was taking it a little too far.
Well, she wouldn't pose. I was like,
Yeah.
It wasn't like the old days where you could just discreetly use a phone. I had to set up a tripod, light it. Let's go international.
Is that what we're doing? Here,
Yeah, well, national's not
Here we
working
go.
out so well.
All right.
It turns out the discovery of an illegal marijuana grow operation at a farmhouse in Turner, Maine, could be one of 270 in Maine. A call to the fire department for smoke pouring out of the eaves in Turner turned out to be steam due to extreme heat inside and cold outside. They found 2,500
steam.
marijuana plants. So they've been dealing with illegal grow houses in recent times with half a dozen people charged in the last few weeks. There's a bunch of senators involved in a crackdown, and they believe these operations are connected to Chinese-owned marijuana farms cropping up across the country. Look, here's the thing. The Chinese are not even making a profit on the marijuana sales, but it drives sales to the Chinese restaurants. So it's a lost leader.
Is it not a little suspicious in Maine when like 14 Chinese people are in the local diner?
Oh yeah, and if they and when they nail them because when they try to say LL Bean, it's a huge red flag.
Is this the new version of like all the like hot naked chicks like packing cocaine and they're naked so they won't steal it?
Yeah, you're right. Right. You mean
This is
because
like-
Chinese people don't smoke weed?
No, but it would just be a room full of these Chinese people processing the weed and packaging it or whatever's going on.
You're right.
They're probably all gigantic because they can't help but getting high.
Yeah. I think you get secondhand. I think there's contact high from handling weed. I had a friend who used to pick it up in Vancouver.
Oh,
and
wow.
He said that you would get high just because you were touching it so much.
I bet it's the best weed delivery service in the world, though.
There you go. See, you are good on the fly, Mike. You don't have to prepare.
See?
A serial convicted. Wait, do we need to do this one?
I don't know. It is a
No,
Texas story.
We can skip this one.
Let's skip that one. Fucking bugs.
Um,
Skipping that too?
we'll go to
Whales?
no. We'll go to the fucking bugs.
All right,
Right.
science and health. Here we go. Yeah, that paper's getting old.
They're coming. Billions, if not trillions, of a rare breed of cicadas are about to crawl out of their underground bunkers where for 13 years, they've been suckling on tree roots, waiting to emerge. Richmond is one of a handful of places in Virginia likely to experience this wonder of nature firsthand. These aren't just any old everyday cicadas. Some of the red-eyed brood are expected to surface with a fungus that turns them into hypersexual, frantically mating zombies that spread the fungus like an STD and keep going until their genitals fall off. Well, this sounds more like it should be happening in Vegas than Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah.
What a party.
I'm going to Prize Picks, and I'm taking the more than. I'm going trillions.
You're going trillions on this
I'm
one.
going trillions.
Yep.
I know trillion is quite significantly more than a billion,
Yep.
but I'm still going with it.
I think maybe they should get Megan Thee Stallion's video guy to cover this story.
All right.
He'll get so hurt by it. He'll get triggered.
And the swarm is going to be smaller, though, than her wet ass pussy. So maybe the job will be a little
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah.
Even if they're billions.
I just want to see
So
these
what-
guys from Virginia coming home with STDs. Honey, I didn't fuck nobody. It was the cicadas.
Okay. So they didn't get, I'm reading the story for the date. They just said it's coming.
It's coming.
All right. Well, I want a date. I want to start following this
What do you
story.
think they are? Do you think they have Apple phones with a fucking calendar app on it? They come
No.
out when they come out.
You'd be shocked how timely nature can be in very weird ways.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not saying this is down to the day, but I bet they have a 4 or 5 day window they're looking at.
Well, speaking of nature, a team of scientists from the SETI Institute, which is devoted to the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, claims to have conversed with a humpback whale in Alaska.
They're looking the wrong way.
The team is hoping to apply what they learned to lay the groundwork for our efforts to communicate with aliens. Whales are a proxy for aliens, SETI researcher and
That's
Josie
a
Hubbard
stretch.
said. They're intelligent creatures with a language that is foreign to us. The things we learned from communicating from the whales could help us when it comes to connecting with the aliens. The team played underwater recordings of humpback whales to other whales off the coast. While most of the mammals ignored them, a female named Twain started circling their boat, mimicking the noises. And thus, the first whale pop star was born, Justin Blubber.
I was waiting.
That was horrible.
I thought you were going to quit on it. I gave you time to quit on that pun at the end. This is the problem, though. It's all we're going to do when we talk to the UFOs and extraterrestrials is be like, are you terrified of Japanese whale ships as well? Do Asian men terrify you?
Yeah. Yeah, and that they actually translated what the whales were saying. One of them was, yo, mama's so fat, I got to roll over twice to get off of her. And the other one said, yo, mama's so fat, when she sit around the coral reef, she sit around the coral reef. And another one said she got arrested at the airport for 10 pounds of crack. And
That's
another
her
one
crack?
goes, your mama's so fat, she eats a lot of jelly donut fish.
Jelly donut fish. I miss the days of Justin Blubber. All of a sudden, was that your plan to help that first joke?
Yes. Yes. By the end of the podcast, it's going to sound like I'm doing the roast of Tom Brady. Oh, I can't wait to see your guys' stupid little jokes.
Oh no, some are so smart. No, I'm the guy who puts it has to be an exceptional joke to be a pun. The wordplay is welcome, but it has to be clever.
Okay.
I said confidently. Meanwhile, I do not have control over what a lot of people say. So,
all right, let's get down to this day in history.
All right, as I call up, I like to do this one on the fly, as you know.
You mean like a version of this segment where you don't have to prepare anything?
Listen, you cut me off. I had another good joke about the UFOs.
What was it?
That they're going to just, when we're talking to the extraterrestrials, we'll be like, are you terrified that we're contacting you to cut up your blubber and use it for our erections and make soup from your fins? That's sharks, which are not really whales.
Yeah,
There's whale shark.
Do you know that restaurant we used to go to called Typhoon in Santa Monica was put out of business because they had a secret room where they were selling Japanese guys whale sushi.
They got busted during the Oscars after that documentary, The Cove, won Best Documentary that year. And while that director was in town, he did an undercover sting operation on that restaurant.
No shit.
Because I told you I was helping run George Lopez's show. He was our guest the day after we booked him as soon as he won the Oscar, right? So everyone tries to book him then. So we were one of those shows that got him, but they played him off, and I thought I had a good idea. Let him finish his Oscar speech on our show. So that's what he did.
That's good.
So that's what he did. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that restaurant Typhoon, they used to serve crickets. I used to eat crickets, ants, all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah. Is there a restaurant there now?
No.
That was a great location. Watching the sunset, the planes taking off.
Right.
And landing. Okay. Give or take 50 years.
50 years.
Portuguese navigator Ferdinand Magellan was killed during a fight with natives in the Philippines.
1380.
1521.
Damn it. Off by 100 years.
That didn't go well. Okay. Give or take 10 years. Ulysses S. Grant was born. on this day?
He was born in 1822.
You're joking, right?
No, is it close?
1822.
No, fuck it. I just read his biography about a year ago.
1822.
Nice.
That's crazy.
Yeah, baby.
All right, there's a lot of boring stuff, so I'm gonna go to this one, which is tomorrow. Hopefully that doesn't throw you off.
By the way,
Opal?
great fucking book. It's a Ron Chernow book.
Oh wow, I said Opal. Apple launched the iTunes Store on this day. Gave users the ability to purchase and download music. That was the moment. That was a game changer for the music business.
What,
Sorry.
what's
Sorry,
the give or take?
Give or take 4 years.
2004.
You bitch. 2003.
Nice.
Let's see if we get another
all
one
over
here.
this shit today.
Let's see another one here. At the height of the Vietnam War, my childhood hero Muhammad Ali refused induction into the U.S. Army, citing religious reasons. He was quite, his comments were quite memorable and strong. And it happened on this day, and I'm going to say give or take 4 years.
1968.
Jesus, 1967.
Nice.
I think I'm giving you easy ones. All right. Give or take 5 years, American author Harper Lee won national acclaim for her novel To Kill a Mockingbird. She was born on this day, what year? Give or take 5.
1925.
Are you Googling while I'm reading?
No.
1926.
Get the fuck out. I'm on fire today, baby.
I got to keep going. All right, you ready? Give or take 20 years.
Yeah.
Gunfighter Billy the Kid escaped from prison in New Mexico, where he'd been convicted of the murder and sentenced to death. He was killed several months later by Pat Garrett, of course.
What year?
Give or take, what did I say, 20 years? Yeah, what year? Billy the Kid escaped from prison, but he was dead a couple of months later.
1850.
I love it, finally. 1881.
Yeah.
All right, we're moving on.
All right, let's do some letters to the editor.
You got it.
I said I was
Okay.
pretty fucking impressive today.
That was wild. I mean, your golf might have been shit, but boy, nothing but fairway on those.
E-Dub, always love your show and will definitely watch any episode you're on, Corolla, Harlan, etc. Just wish you and Gibbons could do an in-studio show regularly together. The epidemic called. It wants its whole Zoom-style meeting interview shitcast back.
Whoa.
I'll take my answer off the air. No, you won't. You'll take it on the air.
Not happening.
Well, I'm all for it, but Mike is dragging his heels. There's a level of commitment Mike is not really making to this podcast.
I think these are old letters to the editor.
What do you mean old? You think we read this before?
It sounds familiar. And the next one is about when I read your horoscope.
We do that already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And the next one, which told me my stocks were plummeting, although they had a good week.
Oh, yeah. Did they come back, your stocks?
Yeah, but this is the thing. Unlike most of my gambles, these ones are slow movers. So with whether they go up or down, it's not like crazy, which has been my thing in the past. It's like, oof, down 11% in one day. Like, that's not happening.
Don't forget, koozies are still on sale. Go to fitzdog.com. Find out how you can Venmo Mike. And for $10 all in, including shipping, get a koozie sent right to your door. Keep your drinks cool this summer with the Sunday Papers koozie.
2 came in, and then a woman also is so apologetic. She hasn't gotten hers, but I'm going to get those 3 out this week. 2 new ones, I think, and then an old one.
Unbelievable. I do a crisp, positive pitch, and then you always go, and people aren't getting them.
No. One woman, I don't know what it is. I mean, the mail chews it up. Well, listen, everyone's so happy with them. Thousands.
Well, look, thousands have gone out, and
hundreds,
so
maybe hundreds.
Once in a while, a couple don't make it, and then
maybe close to
follow
1,000.
up.
Here we go.
In the funny section.
It's a section, Greg. It's a section.
Lee from Fairfax, Virginia says, you're completely missing the point of Calvin and Hobbes.
I
yes,
might be.
You're right. To an adult, it is not fall down funny. It's not single panel clever like The Far Side. And it is also not just cute for the sake of cute like Family Circus. It's also not trying to be any of those strips. It's a window into the mind of a 6-year-old boy with a giant imagination. It is as often heartfelt and poignant as it is silly. They address big philosophical questions and also take time to enjoy playing in the mud. We see the contradictions and the often nonsensical nature of modern parenting and suburban childhood processed through the not yet cynical brain of a child. Also, the artwork is hugely imaginative and often just plain gorgeous. Mike, your response to that?
No comment, because I want to be open to this. I see what Lee is saying, but I don't know.
Jim Blakey says Calvin and Hobbes isn't something you can pick up from one individual strip. It would be akin to reading individual lines from amazing movies and expecting them to have the same gravitas as watching the entire movie. So that's Jim Blakely's take on it.
Yeah,
So,
one thing I think of is Matt Groening, and I really didn't like the Simpsons comic strip. Like, it wasn't at all the tone of the TV show.
yeah.
And I think it was a lot more negative, I believe, and people can speak better to this than I. But, so I'm sure, just like the people who created the show, saw something in it that I wasn't seeing, and that could be what's happening here.
Okay. Well, we'll get to it.
gonna
In
get to
Hagar the Horrible,
This
Lucky,
guy I get right out of the gate. I mean, it's his rape game.
Lucky's at look, it's not even a game. I mean, for the Vikings, rape was just, you clock in, you maraud, you pillage, and you rape. And there is a comic strip for children to read every Sunday in color with cute, fuzzy little rapey characters. And they're humanizing them.
Maybe because it's nonfiction. Maybe, because we're older and we tend to skew towards nonfiction.
Well, now Lucky is at a lunch counter with Hagar, and he goes, I'll have the fish. And then Hagar goes, spaghetti and meatballs. And then a beautiful woman, not really, approaches
That's a fast
them.
delivery of the order.
She goes, excuse me, boys, is this seat taken? Lucky goes, not at all. Now, right out of the gate, it's like women in the medieval times were not allowed in the same place, and they certainly were putting themselves in danger by introducing themselves to a man. So, yeah, I moved here from Oslo 2 years ago, she says. Since then, I've been working at the village market. I dream of having children one day, and Lucky's getting all children. I can help you get children right now in the alley. And then she says, I'm so sorry I've been going on about myself. And he goes, don't apologize. I'd love to hear more. And she goes, please put this in a takeout bag for my husband. And then Hagar goes, heard enough? Yeah, I think he has heard enough. I think generally a woman says 3 or 4 words and they've heard enough. Then it's just screams.
I think it's heard enough, yep. And then they just silently walk outside and kill her husband.
Right.
Enough said.
I mean, what is it with these guys trying to claim a woman? You don't own a woman. She's everybody's.
You don't own her for more than a few minutes.
Let's get to the Lockhorns, where Leroy is sitting with his friend in the living room. Loretta is got her back to him, hands on the hips, looking over her shoulder with a menacing look on her face. And he goes, I married Loretta for her looks, but not the one she's giving me right now.
Yeah.
Next one, they're at a cocktail party. Leroy's talking to another couple, interracial, and Loretta's smiling, and Leroy goes, Loretta and I have been through thick and thin, but not in that order. That's all right. And then
that's better. That's
this
better.
one
I
you're
like
gonna
that
like.
one.
Leroy's walking out the door to go to work. He's got his briefcase. Loretta is calling out to the neighborhood. Look out, world. Here goes nothing.
Yep.
That's harsh.
And look at his look back to her.
Yeah.
He's looking sharp, though, I got to
He
say.
does. He looks good.
Is he an architect? What is he carrying there? Or are those baguettes? Or are those rolled up plans?
It's a briefcase.
No, in his right arm.
No, that's just his fucked up hand.
Oh, you're right.
From beating her.
He's about, that's an open hand. It's about to come right across her nose.
Now Leroy's sitting with a friend at the dinner table, and a black cloud rolls in from the kitchen. Loretta doesn't rush her cooking. It's more of a slow burn. All right.
Not bad.
Not bad.
The third one, you were right, is perfectly good. Okay, here we go. Calvin and Hobbes. This is number 12.
You can read these words?
No, I've blown it up on my,
Okay.
either can the listeners. I've blown it up on the webpage I got it from, but it's number 12 on the greatest Calvin and Hobbes strips. So it is a snowy scene, and you got Calvin and Hobbes are face to face with this snowman who seems inanimate. We'll see how that goes. So has his hat on, and all that, and a shovel. So Calvin goes, "Look at that kid's snowman. What a pathetic cliche." And then Calvin goes on, "Am I supposed to identify with this complacent moron and his shovel? The snowman says nothing about the human condition. Is this all the kid has to say about contemporary suburban life? The soulless banality of this snowman is a sad comment on today's art world. Now come look at my snowman." And they walk over to his, and he continues, "I call it the torment of existence." I thought it said existential. It's very small print. "I call it the torment of existence weighted against the horror of non-being." And it is like Munch's Scream, where the snowman is a full-throated scream, crazy eyes, messed up teeth, with his stick hands coming out and covering his ears. And he goes, "As he melts, the sculpture will become even more poignant." And then Hobbes says, "I admire your willingness to put artistic integrity before marketability." And then he walks away from Calvin. And then Calvin is left there alone in the next frame. And then Calvin fixes his snowman to be banal. My word. There are no words there.
Wow. So he gains his
Is this the message we want getting out there?
Yeah, that in the end you should just be banal
and marketable.
Well,
maybe there's a history we don't know where like Calvin is. This is my takeaway, and again, I don't know these guys. I think Hobbes is trying to kill this young boy's idealism. I think that he was sent there. Maybe his parents, who are pretending not to know this thing comes to life. If that's the jig here, and he's sent by the parents to kill the young idealism in Calvin.
Yes, he's a fluffy stuffed animal. He can't allow this child to express this kind of rage. He's got to rein him in. He's the super ego.
Do not live everyday life. It's the most reckless, irresponsible way to live.
Yep.
You have to invest in, you have to have a 20, 30-year horizon in life.
Yes.
You have to plan. Do not play.
Right.
Delay work.
Yeah.
I mean, delay joy. Sorry.
Speaking of delaying work, Blondie, for some reason, is making out with Dagwood in the front threshold of the house. And it's hard to imagine this, that Finally, this guy has dropped a pair of balls and is making a move on this hot piece of ass. But she's saying to him as they make out, there's a car out front honking. It's his carpool.
Yeah.
And she goes, I feel lazy today. Like just staying home with you. And he goes, I feel like that every day. What fucking comic strip am I reading right now? Do I see passion? Do I see two people in the throes of eroticism? And then all of a sudden we're in the next frame and Dopey fucking got in the car. He got into the carpool and left his wet-ass pussy wife behind in the house to get a cucumber and go to work on herself. No doubt thinking about Herb the neighbor and not him. So they're in the car and everybody, I got spring fever. Me too. I want to play hooky. And he goes, I always have spring fever. And then they get to the office and the boss has a Hawaiian shirt and a Mai Tai. And he goes, Bumstead, strangely, I feel kind of lazy. And he goes, the planet must be in alignment today. I don't know. The next two frames don't matter. The first one is one that has thrown off. It's throwing the universe off its axis to access
Sure.
to me.
Yeah, I
Jesus
think he
Christ.
said yes because he knew it wasn't possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like like the dog, like, ooh, if I didn't have this leash, I'd attack you.
Yeah, right. God. It's like when you
Terrible.
it's like when I'm driving through Beverly Hills and I see some 86-year-old guy in a velour sweater driving a Maserati or a Corvette, and you go like, come on. You can't handle that fucking car.
Says the Prius driver.
I'm all over my Prius. I fuck my Prius.
All right.
All right, listen, thank you, Chris Denman, for joining us. We didn't hear much from you this week, but it's always nice to know you're there.
He
in
was
the
there. He
background.
was putting in things.
Yeah, he did. And also, we want to thank our sponsors, of course. There is a lot of overpriced wireless out there. Mint Mobile is going to help you. mintmobile.com/papers, and you're going to get $15 a month for a new customer on a 3-month plan. Also, Prize Picks. They will, what is Prize Picks going to do? Download the app today and use code PAPERS for a first deposit match of up to $100. Also, we want to remind people that the roast of Tom Brady will be live on Netflix, is it?
Tonight.
No, not tonight.
No,
a week from tonight.
next week. I'm
Yeah.
a little confused.
Yeah.
It's going to be the 5th, live
Okay.
on Netflix.
Don't miss it. It's going to be great.
Sunday.
And anything. All right, so that's your promotion. So we'll see you guys next week.
Everybody take it easy.
Take it, Ish.
But once a week, and the world keeps on spinning around. But the Sunday Papers podcast with Greg and Mike will never let you down.